using my compost bin, hot composting bin, to provide the heat for a kind of hotbed or a heated kind of cloche. So what I've got here, this is just a piece of corrugated PVC floor protector sheet. So I've got that on there as a kind of moisture sort of membrane to stop the greenhouse getting really humid, because as the seeds are coming through now, I'm a bit concerned they might start to rot off. So I'll just put that down here. I've got a couple of composter thermometers in here. Can you see? It's going down now. It's up to 74 degrees. So that one was in the kind of about a foot down from the top of the heap. Put that over here. I've got a lower one down, which is just about a foot from the base, and that's reading 70. So it's top of the heap was 74, the bottom of the heap was 70. It's just cooling down now because I've taken out compost. So I've added, this is actually coated in plastic, but what I'm going to do is just use that just to sort of retain the moisture, and then when the cardboard's broken down, I'll just remove the plastic from the top. I've got some of these PLA cups. These, I don't know if they're Polypack, but I had successful results composting those. They need 65 degrees to initially break down. Once they break down or deplasticize, then the composter microbes will do the rest. But what I'll do is I'll give this a quick turn, and then I'm going to put the cold frame back on. So I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see. This is a, can you see that? It's a Primrose compost aerator, and it's got these little barbs and they slot down. What I did with this one is I replaced the rivet. It was a kind of hollow rivet, and it was just swaged over on the back end, and I put a nylon nut, and then I pinged over the end of the machine screw, so it's much more rigid. And I also bent those tabs around a little bit more, so it stops it from bending down under the weight. So I just push this down. So you can see the heat coming out, water vapour. Quite a good workout, this is. So you can see these compostable cups are breaking down quite well. Just as I get my breath back, and you can see this. It's not steam, it's just water vapour. It's only 70 degrees, it's not boiling. What I like to do is, where I've got new material, work the new material into the old material. It breaks down so much faster, and the cardboard will absorb any excess moisture as well. It's quite a handy tool. It's just a garden fork. The handle's broken, so it's quite good for getting into confined spaces, because you haven't got to worry about the handle getting in the way. There's some cardboard. Let's get that out. Cardboard does make it quite difficult to dig. So give it a nice stone. So the contents, it's basically 50% wood chip, 50% brewer's waste, but then ongoing I'm adding some biochar, so it's around about 10% biochar, 10 to 20% biochar. Then I'm adding kitchen waste, and then cardboard as the carbon, so I'm kind of topping it up. It's sunk down quite a lot, so what I might do is get another bag of brewery waste, which is spent grain and spent hops, and another bag of wood chips. So as I said, this is kind of plastic coated, but it's a big sheet, so I'll just remove that. But it does hold the moisture in quite well. as you can tell, quite out of breath. It's quite hard work turning, but I'll try and do that once a week just to maintain the heat to get these seeds to germinate. And I think what I'll do here, let's see that. This is some closed cell polyurethane foam insulation, 50mm thick or 60mm thick. I've got 2 of these fixed together. You just see. And what I've done is I've wrapped the PVC, corrugated PVC around the ends, and then I've used black gaffer tape just to bind it up. I've got some more of this sheet. I was going to wrap that up just as a moisture kind of layer, just to stop the closed cell foam from absorbing too much moisture. So that's ready to go. This is the bottom part of the cold frame. I'll just show you now. So this is a reclaimed hardwood Aerator, and then I've got a kind of platform that fits in here, and this is just a piece of reclaimed buffalo board from a scaffold yard. And I've made these little tabs just out of some reclaimed aluminium sheet. Don't know what it was. It's kind of vinyl coated on one side with like a leverette sort of finish, and then I just cut those out with a guillotine and then rounded them off on a disc sander, and just one stainless steel screw in there makes a little tab so it locates the acrylic. So this is the one of the seed trays I've got going so far. I've labelled these up. I've also made a spreadsheet because I always find that the labels come out. So I've got 1 to 6. I've got various species of varieties of tomatoes, got chilies, and then I've got some melons. And these are just coming through now, so I don't know if you can see. I think that's either cucumber or melon. And those little seedlings, and the tomatoes are too small to see at the moment. They'll soon be growing with all that heat. And then these are quite good. These are little pot sort of stands. They're really designed for what do you call it? Capillary matting. So you can kind of lift up the whole tray of plants and then just set them down. So they're not in a tray. They're just sort of supported by the rims of the pots. But this is a nice little, this is a cucumber bush champion. It's living up to its name. So I think that'll be good. It's still going to get some humidity. It's not, it's getting some airflow in there as well. And what I'll do now is I'll get the perspex or the acrylic Cloche back on top. Change the camera so you can see a little bit better. So the Cloche clips on here, they're actually a commercial item. They're from a company called 2 Wests and Elliot, named after their 2 Westies. I don't know who Elliot is. He's probably not a Westie. And what's quite nice, because I've got these little clips on here, you can kind of slide out carefully just to one side, so it gives you access to the plants inside. And then when you want to kind of put them to bed, it takes a little bit of, you just got to lift it over those brackets. You can slide out, you slide to the other side as well. So this is a reclaimed 5mm acrylic. It's from a company called K2 Laser, and they get loads of waste because they're using big industrial machines. It's not worth their time to put small offcuts on there just to do 1 or 2 little pieces. So they have a setup with a company that recycles the acrylic, but they pay for that, so they're quite happy for people to go, well, for me to go and collect it. I wouldn't say people, because I don't think they want lots of people showing up different times of the day asking for the occasional piece. So because I work in a school, I'm getting carloads at a time, and I'm using this myself too. So I made, this is a little laser cut vent, so it's closed, that's open, and I've got a stainless steel M6 button head screw, machine screw, and then a nylock nut inside, and then these 25mm stainless steel washers, and then there's a little 20mm rubber washer on there as well, so that gives you a bit of resistance, so it stops it just from opening on its own. There's a little bit of gap there as well, it's not completely airtight, but you don't need it to be with this thing. And that slides in here, and there's a tab at the top, and that locates the acrylic. You can just slide it up to the end so it's nice and secure. What I'm thinking of doing, I've got a stainless steel little kind of hook. I'm going to screw that onto the base of the Aerator there, and then I'm thinking of just adding a little bit of a elastic, what do you call it, like paracord, just so I can have a loop around the wing nut at the top, loop it around there. Then it's going to be tethered down as well, so it's going to be really storm proof. And there's the other end of the cloche, which is, again, that's 5mm acrylic, so it's really tough. I've actually tripped over and stood on one of these and it didn't break, which wasn't really my intent, but it just goes to show they're quite sturdy. And lastly, I've got this little Min Thermometer. It's 13, it was around about 20 inside, and its minimum temperature is about 15, so it's maintaining a nice bit of heat. And I'll just reset that and then place that in the front so I can keep track of how warm it is in there. I think during the day I'll just have the vents open today, and then I'll put this one back and we're all done.